Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. Clementine and Otis, Daddy loves you. All right, some shout-outs today. I want to shout out to INDOSOLE and Tectonic Coffee. Man, I'm so stoked to be sponsored by these guys. Like, they're just beautiful people that run these companies, doing good things for the world, especially in these really weird times that we're in. Go to their website, use the THT promo code, and you'll get a 15% discount on a pair of INDOSOLEs. Or if you go to Tectonic Coffee, you'll get a 15% discount on some coffee. Both companies ship worldwide. So, get online to INDOSOLE, that's INDOSOLE.com. And Tectonic Coffee, so that's TECTONICCOFFEE.com. And get on. Let's do it. Also, I just want to do a big shout out to Kindred Essential Oils. Huge thanks for the gift in the mail. I love essential oils. Like, I just feel like in this day and age where we're being told constantly to like sanitize and wear face masks, no one's really advising us to actually like go and, get healthy or use natural therapies or exercise or sleep well or eat well. And I just really find I'm a huge advocate for essential oils. So Kindred Essential Oils sent me some doTERRA. What's it called? The On Guard. So like anytime I feel like I'm getting like a sore throat or a little bit sick, I rub that stuff, into my glands, and I swear to God, I just don't get sick. I haven't been sick in ages. So big shout out to Rachel Seabrook and much appreciated. All right, Whitney, are you ready? Kinda. You're ready.
I'm having a good time.
You are?
Yeah.
I can tell.
And we are rolling.
Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Terrible happy talks. Today's guest is Whitney Geoghegan. Whitney is a health and fitness coach, competitive Muay Thai fighter, and advocate for the empowerment of women. Whitney's journey to self-love spans countries, relationships, and time. She seeks her own personal truth in all that she does and inspires others that have the privilege of being in her presence to do the same. Her personal training business, EmpowerHER, aims to build a supportive and nurturing community through boxing, brunch, events, and workshops. Today, Whitney is with me to share her journey, experiences, challenges, and hopes for the future. Whitney Geoghegan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so stoked to have you. Like, we've been talking about this for, a couple of weeks, and you've got a busy schedule, hey?
Yeah, a little bit busy,
Like, why? Like, what's a day in the life of Whitney like?
Day in the life of Whitney. I wake up probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock, go and grab myself a coffee. It's got to be the first thing that I do. My coffee man is my savior, so I go grab myself a coffee.
Well, hang on a sec. Is a coffee place open that early?
5 o'clock in the morning on the dot. Like, I do my research. I make sure that I've got myself a coffee man. Yeah.
No way. That's early. Yeah,
it's early.
And then what?
Straight to work for my first client at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I run through a few clients. I get my training in, which is the most important part of my day. Make sure that I get my movement in, my training. And then finish up around 10:30, 11, depending some days. Go for maybe a walk, get some sunshine, about 20 minutes, 10 minutes of sunshine a day. Go home, try to calm down a little bit after my morning session. So do a little bit of meditation, cook myself a good lunch, sit down, really eat mindfully. Just moved into a new apartment that has an amazing balcony that looks over Mount Kira. So I get my beanbag, the one that I got from Kmart. It's all fluffy, and sit outside in the sun, eat my lunch, put some music on if I can. And get ready for another afternoon of boxing, coming in here to Fit to Fight, where I work out of, and just it's like It doesn't matter if you're having a bad day, you walk into this gym and you're instantly in a better mood, constantly laughing, you know, the environment, the people, the energy. It can take you from like, you know, if you're having a bit of an off day to get in here and you just completely forget about it. And then, just getting to spend time with an afternoon with a good bunch of people, catching up with my clients, go home, cook myself some dinner, wind down, have an early night, bit of a nana. So, you know, try and get off my phone an hour before bed if I can.
Yeah.
Wind down, journal, and then conk out like 9 o'clock. And then repeat. Yeah.
And wow, it's just like going back to what you were saying about like coming into this place, Fit to Fight Boxing Boutique, and, you know, it doesn't matter what mood you're in, you just feel uplifted. I mean, I so resonate with that. I feel it massively. And when I'm watching you and Brett, you know, training people and leading groups, it just doesn't feel like you guys are at work. Like, I don't see two people that are grinding out their 9 to 5. You're not, are you?
No, it's like play. It's like playtime. You come in here and it's just having fun, like fun, but you're still doing the work. Like, you know, it's a passion, it's a love, and it's something that you get excited when people start doing the correct techniques, or you see that they're having a good workout and they're, you know, they dig that extra little bit and push that little bit harder, and just to create that space where people can feel like they're a part of a community and family.
Yeah, and you can feel it, you know, like you can definitely feel that, like what you said, the passion. And I really do think it's the success of anyone or any business is like people pick up on that. And I think that's why there's just so many dedicated, you know, Fit to Fight followers. Like, I feel like I've become one. Like, as soon as like they, you know, Brett made the new Fit to Fight jumpers, I'm like, I've got to have one. I want to be on the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's like people really want to be part of something. They want to feel like they're part of a community. And I think it's just something that's so important, feeling a part of a community. Like, you know, we're born to feel like we're, I guess, a part of a tribe, that connection, culture, community, doesn't matter where it is. If you find that, I think it sparks something within people, and it makes them want to come back for more, and they feel like, they just feel like they belong a little bit.
Yeah. And you sort of said it then, like people feel like they want to be part of something and be part of like a tribe, like you said. How do you feel our society is traveling at the moment with that?
I think there are a lot of people waking up to it and realizing that that's something that is really missing within their life. And I think they're starting to explore it a little bit more, opening up to it a little bit more, realizing that there shouldn't be competition between two people or separation or differences. It doesn't matter who you are. And that when you are in a space that you actually feel a part of a community and connection, you're like, oh, wow, you know, we're not so different. We can share similar stories. People are going through their own stuff, and just a bit more, you become more compassionate towards other people. You let your walls down a little bit more, and you just really, you start to form bonds, and I think people really start to realize, like, it's something.
Feel more connected.
Connection.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to feel alone or walk through life alone. So I think it ebbs and flows, but I definitely have found, even the more that I really decided that community was something that I really needed in my life, and I thrive of being a part of a community, and needing that connection, daily connection, human connection, coming in and having a hug, like that can change your whole day, just coming in and someone just giving you a big hug, or, you know, a big smile, or like you said, like uplift that spirit if you are having a bad day, and someone just being like, just come here, give us a hug, and you feel so much better for it. So I think people are beginning to, you know, slowly realize it doesn't need to be tall poppy syndrome in Australia. We can, like, you know, lift each other up and have part of that community.
I'm worried, like with all the social distancing laws, and, you know, I'm standing in lines in supermarkets and restaurants, and there's dots on the ground that you got to stand on. And I was at Officeworks the other day, and I wasn't standing on the dot, and the person in front of me turned around and just like pointed to the dot, like move back.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me before.
Yeah. And I just had a moment of like, no, like it really goes against human nature.
Yeah.
We need touch, we need affection, we need closeness.
Love.
And I'm worried because we're not getting it as much. It's a strange time. And I feel like the ramifications of this social distancing are going to really start to set in on our community soon. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I definitely feel like sometimes I can feel it myself, you know, before you don't really notice it, but when it's so in your face with like news and everyone's talking about it, stay away, rah, 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 and you're not someone who's genuinely like that. And then you find like I went down to Berry the other week and I almost was like this bit of like, oh my God, I feel claustrophobic. There's a little bit of anxiety coming up. I need to get out of here. Although I wasn't in danger, nothing happened, but it was like those instincts kicked up because it's so in your face. I personally probably going to be a bit contradictory to what else is going on out there, but I've got a different bit of belief. You know, I feel like there's a higher plan behind all of this. Maybe, yeah, sure, you can call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want to do,
Not at
but
all.
I don't know, something just. Things in my mind just don't add up. So
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Because the way I see it is people are talking about this new normal and some people say, oh, I want everything just to go back to normal. Let's face it, normal was fucking shit. Mm-hmm. It was. Like normal was getting worse and worse. And, you know, people talk about the big reset. I'm looking for the positive in this situation we're in. And I do feel like, and I hope that this is the reset that we needed. And you sort of touched on it before when you said, maybe that this is going to highlight people realization for the need to be more community-minded and more connected to one another.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we were getting more and more disconnected anyway through technology and just through, technology is the main one, but I don't know.
Yeah. I personally just to kind of keep myself grounded and like sane and not buying into it too much is to just really trust that everything is working out for the highest good.
Are you scared by the current situation? Is there fear in you?
There's fear that I can't travel again.
So,
I mean,
yeah, get me back to Bali now.
That's it. Like the fear of like, oh my God, like, am I ever going to be able to get on a plane again? You know, because that's a huge thing for me. Like I'm a bit of a free spirit. Like right now I'm like meant to be in Thailand, like on holidays, like it's travel. I love that.
Why?
Yeah. Because I often have these things where I'm just like, oh my God, how do these people live? What are their thought processes like? What's their dating life like? You know, what's their culture like? How do they cook their food? You know, I always imagine a day in the life of someone that lives in like, I don't know, China or Greece or like there's just so much out there yet to be explored. And it's just, I'm really attracted to really different cultures and understanding how they live and how they be. You know, language. Not that I'm very good at picking up on a different language. You would think the amount of times I've gone to Thailand and living there for a year that I would know more. But yeah, it's just there's too much to explore and I couldn't imagine never being able to go out and explore those unseen places. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. I'm the same 100%. Ever since I was a kid. I remember I seen a picture in a Time magazine and it was a picture of a big mountain. And I was like, Mum, where is this? I was like 5 or 6 and she's like, that's Switzerland. I was like, what's a Switzerland? She goes, that's like another country. Like what, like another place? And she's like, yeah, it's like on the other side of the world. And I remember from that moment, I was like, I'm going there one day. And I've actually never been there. I have been to Europe and stuff, but yeah, I'm feeling exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you lived in Thailand for a year?
Yeah, I lived there for about a year. Yep.
How was that?
That was different. Yeah.
Why is that?
I mean, I loved it and I did. I literally, my days were just train, eat, sleep, repeat. That's pretty much all I did.
Muay Thai?
Muay Thai. Yep. Muay Thai. So we did 2 hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, Monday to Friday, 1 session on the Saturday. Sunday was rest. And then on top of that, we'd have to go for a run too. So run morning, run afternoon. And I hate running. So it was like my worst nightmare. Running in the heat, running in your Muay Thai shorts. It's just like, oh gosh. But you know, the people that you connect with and that you meet with, the nurturing, the caring side of them, you sit down, you know, and they cook you dinner after training, or, you know, you go to the fight nights every night or every few nights. You start to make connections and bonds. It's just a beautiful place. And it's something that the first time I did Muay Thai, I fell in love with it. And then it was just from there I got hooked, and it's just something that, you know, made me feel really strong, made me feel really empowered. It was something that I was like, oh my God, I'm actually pretty good at this. It was the first time I felt confident within what I was doing.
So cool. Like being immersed in another culture, like what were some of the fundamental differences you noticed between your home country and there?
It's like it doesn't matter how much money they have, they can still thrive and have, like, you know, they still be happy with what they've got, and still caring and nurturing and, you know, wanting to take care of people. And they kind of live moment by moment, where it's like, all right, if I've got this amount of money today, that's cool. That's all I've got, you know, and then tomorrow, who knows what will bring. But we're not worried about that too much. We're just in the moment. But even like their fighting and stuff, it's all kind of a part of who they are. It's a part of their culture.
So it's like part of their daily routine.
Yeah.
Something you do.
Yeah. And just like, you know, there's no somewhat ego involved in their fighting scene as well. And that's why I loved it so much. It's like you and your mate could go and fight each other, but afterwards you're still mates. But yeah, it's just...
Would you say there's a lot more mutual respect for one another?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's nice.
There's no tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah. I know, like, that really is synonymous with Australian culture.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, I've noticed it after living in other countries. We really do like to chop people down if they are trying to step out or be different. Although I think it's changing, but yeah, there is that culture underlying.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just an observation. Yeah, so you went to Thailand with the desire to be a competitive fighter?
No.
No, you wanted just to go there and live that lifestyle of training and living in the heat.
Yeah, so I originally went over when I was 17, did my first training camp, and then every single time my weeks added on. So it was like a 1 week trip. And then next one was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I think the biggest one was 3 months. I went to Europe. I was actually meant to live. I got my working visa. I was meant to live in London. Like, that was the whole plan. And then I got over there and I was in Paris, and I was like, I do not want to go. There's no part of me that says go live in London. Like, no. And I got back to Australia and I just worked for 6 months straight, and went, I'm going to Thailand and I'm going to go and live and just stay for a year and see what happens.
Which part of Thailand was it?
I was in Patong.
Oh, yeah.
So
what's funny about that?
It's
Come on, what's funny about it?
All known for like party holidays. So it was... I was over there, but I never felt homesick because it was like every second week someone's like, I'm coming to Thailand. I was like, oh, sick. Okay, cool. So I was like, you know, you didn't get homesick. Like, one of your mates was flying over every few weeks, and yeah.
That's what I found in Bali. I actually was catching up with people more in Bali than I actually would have if I stayed in Australia.
Yeah.
The amount of people like, yeah, I'm just going to be in Bali next week. And yeah, it was great. It's good like that. And because you're in a different country too, it just makes those connections even stronger, you know?
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, okay. So like you grew up in Wollongong?
I grew up in Wollongong.
Yeah, born and raised?
Born and raised, yep.
And went to school here?
Yep, Wollongong High.
How was your childhood growing up in suburban Wollongong?
Like, it was good. I was fine. I was like a happy young girl. I danced, you know. I have an older brother. I grew up next to our neighbours who had 3 kids as well. So it's kind of like we had a little pack where I grew up, like, you know, of kids in the block. we used to play till the street lights come out and that kind of thing, you know, never in front of our TVs and stuff like that. Life was good until I was 14.
What changed?
My dad got diagnosed with cancer and passed away.
Okay.
Yep. So that was probably a big milestone. It sent me on my health journey, which in one way was really good, but another way was really bad. But it was a huge turning point in my life, and I think I grew up very quickly.
If you don't mind me asking, and I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, and I've like so many, I've been touched by cancer too in my family. Was it a lifestyle related cancer that he got, or
So he had melanoma.
oh, okay, so it's like skin cancer related. Okay,
he got it cut out for the first time, and then it came back. I remember we were in Queensland, we were on holiday. My dad was one of those guys, like if he was in pain, like wouldn't take anything, like just soldier on, you know. And I remember we were on holidays and he was like, couldn't move, couldn't walk, and he was just like pumping Panadine Forte, because then we were just like, oh, that is just so not like Dad, like, you know. And then he came home and they were like, oh yeah, you've just got a slip disc in your back, or, you know, whatever. And then I remember we were in the hospital and we were like, he got taken away and he went to hospital, and we're waiting for results, and the nurse moved me out of the room and I was still cut, like I could still hear, and they just said, yeah, it's time to sell your car and get your will intact and pack up your life, and you've got, I think they said 6 months, but that did degenerated like really quickly.
gotcha.
Yeah. So it was like we spent almost every day in the hospital. He tried natural therapies, but it was too late. Spread through his back, into his brain, and yeah.
Prior to him getting it, would you say you had a close relationship with him?
I was Daddy's little girl. We used to go fishing together. He would always drop me to dancing. Like we'd play Spotto in the car all the time. Yeah, Spotto.
My daughter loves Spotto.
And I would always just be like, Spotto, and he's like, that wasn't a yellow car, that was a truck. And it doesn't matter. I just wanted to like punch you.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm playing Spotto with her and I don't even know I'm playing Spotto.
Yeah.
So like Spotto, I'm like, are we even playing Spotto? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our like little game, and we'd go fishing, crabbing, you know. I used to always like at night time he'd get on the lounge and we'd watch like Charmed on TV, or like, you know, some weird witchy movie or like anything. But I would be like a little wombat and I would literally like snuggle in on the lounge and just be so like as close as I possibly could to him. And he would always let me eat ice cream at nighttime too with Milo. So
right, that was my thing too.
Yeah.
I used to do a thing where I'd stir it in, and so it went all like a
oh my
chocolate
God.
smoothie,
like a thick shake,
Thick shake.
that thick with the spoon. Yes,
and I spent it. I had to get the right consistency.
Yeah.
Like I had it down pat.
Yeah. Couldn't be too runny. It just had to be like real creamy.
Actually, you know what? I'm doing that tonight. That's it.
Yeah.
Stuff all this. Actually, no, I deserve it. I've been training at this gym so hard the last few weeks.
You've been killing it.
Actually, it's been 2 months. Jesus. So, yeah, doing Milo and ice cream. Yeah. So, like, you're in your early days of, like, growing up. Like, what was school like for you?
School, I got bullied a little bit at school. I was a bigger girl at school, so I did get bullied a little bit through primary school, a little bit through high school. I was all like, you know, I didn't have too many friends throughout school. I was pretty just kept to myself. Me and my best friend used to run amok. I didn't really enjoy school. And then when my dad passed away, I kind of rebelled a little bit, just didn't want to be there, kind of like, fuck the world.
Yeah.
Hated everything. Yeah. Just wanted to rebel. I wagged a little bit. No. Sorry, Mum. And just as soon as I got my P's.
Sorry, Mum.
Sorry,
Too
Mum.
late.
Yeah.
The damage is done.
Yeah. And then when I hit, so it was like 14 and I signed up at the gym, 14, 15. I signed up to get a gym membership. You know, Dad passed away. I wanted to get my health in check. That was like motivated. Let's go. Let's do it. But I became very addicted very quickly. So then I used to like wag school to go to the gym, and I would catch the bus there. And then when I got my license, like I was dedicated. The ladies in the canteen used to make my protein shakes for me. Like, yeah, it wasn't so good. It turned nasty pretty quickly.
What, school?
No, my relationship with the gym.
With the gym?
And like my health and
So, well, do you mind if we go into that? So because I was a bit surprised, like, oh, your relationship with the gym turned nasty. So I just want to go back a step.
Yep.
Like, I like what you said, like, I wag school to go to the gym.
Yep.
Like, it's almost like a double positive, like double, like, is that a bad thing? I don't know.
No. Again,
I'm not,
sorry, Mum.
I'm not advocating for wagging school, but I find that interesting. And you were saying, like, you know, watching, you know, your dad deteriorate was a real catalyst for you wanting to improve your health. Was that the primary factor, or was it more for, like, because often teenagers are really confronted with body image issues?
Yep.
Was that a factor as well?
I think it was a bit of both. You know, I knew my dad, like, I wasn't saying I was an unactive kid.
Yep.
You know, my dad used to always try and make me go walking, take the dog for a walk. I played tennis, I danced, you know, I did tap, jazz, ballet. No, I actually didn't do ballet. Sorry.
That's
Let's
why
rewind. Let's not do that. Modern, hip hop, all of it. That's why I'm all right at Muay Thai.
I was going to say, that's why that's why you're good at Muay Thai. Because when I watch you box and train and on, especially on the pads, you just look like you really flow, like it's effortless and powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to have something to do with the dancing.
Yeah.
Maybe I should learn how to dance.
13 years.
13 years of dancing. Yeah. Oh, let me guess, jazz and hip hop.
Yeah, it was jazz. I did jazz. I did hip hop. I did a bit of modern. But mate, when I was up on that stage, I gave it 150%.
I can tell.
I was up there and I was rocking it. But yeah, that's probably what helped me with my Muay Thai a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just got this feeling you're someone that doesn't do things in halves.
No.
Yeah. Is that why your relationship with the gym turned negative?
Oh, so yeah. Well,
do you mind?
Went a little bit off track, didn't we?
Do you mind? Like,
no.
Do you mind talking about that?
That's all good.
Yeah.
I think it was an underlying of Dad used to try and get me to exercise. I knew I was a little bit overweight. I loved snacking on lollies and food.
Milo.
Damn Milo and ice cream. And then a little bit of like bullying and stuff too. I was always the bigger girl, and there's a few comments that used to stick with me, like, you know, just nasty kids at school calling you like a fat whale, or, you know, you'll be hot if you grow up and you'll lose weight and you'll get taller, and little things like that. And I think it just was like, oh, okay, it's time to do something. You know, you get your results and you start losing weight and people make comments and like, oh my God, you look great. And you're like, yeah, this is good. I fell in love with exercise at first. I really did. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the feelings. I started feeling really good about my body, all of that. And then I became obsessed with how much weight did I lose. I became very strict with my diet. But people were like, oh, you're so determined. Like you're so strong in, like, you know, the way that you're doing things. You're so structured. You don't even budge on your diet. I had a real bad fear of like carbs. And yeah, it spiraled so quickly to the point where I had developed an eating disorder.
Wow. And I'm so glad you're sharing this because, you know, I think there's this, it sort of goes along with that whole line of, you know, anything can be bad for you if it's done excessively, right?
Yep.
And moderation is key. Mm-hmm. But would you say that you became addicted to the compliments and addicted to that aspect of it, and it became an unhealthy obsession?
Yep. Wow. Definitely. The comments of, oh my God, you look amazing. Oh my God, you've lost so much weight. The addiction of the scales going down, the just constant.
So if you don't mind me asking, were you constantly looking at the scales?
Always looking at the scales, always picking myself apart in the mirror, always obsessed with measuring myself with the tape measure, like every morning. I was obsessed with taking pictures of my body to see if it shrunk overnight. I was obsessed with how much food I was eating. Like I said, like the ladies at the canteen were making my protein shakes because I wasn't willing to eat anything else. We would go for family dinners and stuff, and I would refuse to eat cake. And I became quite depressed. And like I can't even put into words how much I began to hate myself. I hated the person that I looked at the mirror and saw.
Do you mind if I ask when that started? Like how far into it did you start to have that feeling of not liking who you were?
So I would say maybe like 15, 16, I was quite like full on. But when it turned into bulimia, I was 17. Yep.
And from there, where did that journey take you?
It took me for a hell of a ride. 3.5 years I suffered with bulimia. Like a really severe eating disorder where you actually make yourself sick. And the fear and the guilt that came with eating or after I ate just became so much. It bubbled up inside me that I just needed it out, and I couldn't, I couldn't stomach food. I couldn't, if it was something bad, I couldn't be around it. I was consumed about food. It would take me like an hour and a half sometimes to get dressed. I just hated who I was. I would pick myself apart. I would abuse illegal substances, like there's just things that I should never put into my body, but I was so obsessed with getting a six-pack of abs, being skinny, losing weight. It became my identity. It became who I was.
And do you feel like you gravitated towards like substances because then that was actually getting you out of yourself and getting you out of your head? Was it actually like numbing the pain that you were feeling inside?
No, not at all. It was my desire to lose weight. So taking the substances was to like, okay, this isn't working anymore. What do I do next to get more weight off me? What do I do next to become this skinny, six-pack, shredded? Like, what's next? This eating thing, this exercising, is not doing it anymore. It's not cutting it for me. My fear of gaining weight became next level.
Really fear-based, right?
It was so driven by.
And would you say it was a cycle of like, you'd fall into a cycle of guilt and shame? So you may do something like afterwards make yourself throw up. Mm-hmm. And then would that be followed by feelings of guilt, shame?
Yeah.
And then
sadness, embarrassment. Okay.
And then how would you counteract that? Through more training?
Back to the gym.
And then the cycle. So it's a cycle.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's like you train really, really, really hard and you're so strict on your diet, and then someone gives you a piece of cake or maybe you ate a piece of bread, and then that's it. You sit there and you can't, or you stuff yourself so full that the feeling makes you feel so guilty and ashamed, and the fear of like, oh shit, I probably just put on a kilo. My diet and my, Google history was full of quick fat loss diet. I've tried every diet in the book. How do I lose weight quickly? How do I just get a six-pack of abs? Why do I hate myself so much? And I became like a negative. I just felt like a dark negative cloud, and there was points where I just didn't want to wake up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So moving on from that, how'd you get out of it? What'd you do?
I remember telling my best friend that I was really suffering badly at the time. And she was like, I said, I need help. I said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't. Like, it got to the point where I was doing it at school, at home, in the shower, and nothing that I was like, it just got ugly. And she was like, all right, I'll go to the doctor's with you. So I walked into the medical centre, you know, young me, and they were like, oh, yeah, here's some antidepressants. Off you go. And I was like,
Oh, my God.
oh, okay. I think I had one tablet. And I was just like, no, like something inside of me just went like, no, this isn't the way you do this. Like, no. And anyway, so then I was like, all right, I need to go tell my personal trainer. So I went and told her, and she was like, all right, like, let's sit down. You need to call your mum and you need to tell her. And I was like, oh my God. So she took me, like, she was like, I had an inkling, but I just didn't really know how to, you know, bring it up to you or, you know, talk about it. So I'm glad that you've come to me. I'm going to call my mum. And it's like, it was a journey of like, I went to a counsellor and I just never found anyone that I really clicked with. And it was a bit of a battle, and just the way that they kind of tried to give me somewhat of a treatment didn't sit right with me either. Like, they were like, oh yeah, you just go home and eat a sandwich. And I was like, I'm petrified of sandwiches. Why would you go and tell me to eat a sandwich? So just, I didn't find that connection.
Did you feel there's a lack of actual understanding?
Yeah, it wasn't getting to the root cause of this. Like, you know, now when I reflect back on it, it's not actually about the food or my body or my body image. It goes so much deeper than that. There's like a root cause. So I don't know, I was angry at the world and stuff as well, and just in this cycle.
Did you get down to what the root cause was?
We're still on that journey. But yeah, I ended up going, and I was introduced to, I actually don't even know how I seen her, but I went and seen this lady, and she was a hypnotherapist.
Wow.
A breathwork practitioner. And she just had a very alternative outlook on life, and she explained things so differently to me. I actually think I went to see her. My intention was to get my cards read, but I went there and got a different kind of outcome. And we just, like, what she opened me up to really, really changed my whole perception of life and being here on this earth and everything. And I just went on a huge journey with her, and it just really, she introduced me to like breath work and alternative healings, and I fell in love with like philosophy, spirituality, taking a different approach,
like a journey into yourself.
Yeah, it was definitely, I went within. It definitely went within. Yeah.
So do you think maybe you had a realization that you were the only one that could get you out of the hole?
Yeah. It didn't sink in as quickly as I thought it would. Like, this lingered on for quite a while, and it ebbed and flowed out of it, and it really is, and it's so huge. And sometimes I have to remind myself of it is a journey. It is a journey. You don't just wake up one night and you're like, yes, sweet, this shit's sorted. Like, no, it still to this day comes up in waves, and I just have to sit with it and be with it and acknowledge it and kind of surrender to it, which sometimes is hard. But you've got to trust that, like, it is not you, but it's what I was incarnated on this earth in this lifetime to heal. It's my soul journey to learn to love myself or rediscover self-love and self-empowerment, and move beyond that. And it's my mission on this life, or, my purpose is to really go within and heal that within me. And by doing so, I create a ripple effect that helps other women heal and see that light within themselves too.
Because there's other people going through the same thing.
There is so many other people going through the same thing. So many.
Is that something you've discovered along the way?
Yeah. Just, I guess recently, by being a bit more courageous and open, I have been able to share my story, and just had like women come out of the woodworks and be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm going through the same thing, or I've been through the same thing. I never thought of that kind of taking a different approach to, I guess, doing my own healing work. And yeah, everyone has a battle. Everyone's fighting something. It doesn't matter what level it's on. No one's is, bigger or better than other ones. Everyone to themselves, it's can consume their whole world, and it's big in their eyes. So I think it's like not minimizing their experience and being like, it's okay if this is what you're going through,
It is. I've got a bit of off on a tangent. I've got a bit of a theory on suffering that I've developed. I've got a theory that I feel like everyone in their lifetime is faced with this same amount of suffering throughout their life. And the way it's dispersed throughout their time on this planet is different to others. So for some people, it's really compacted into a short time in their life. It could be just a really bad period that goes for years, and then it changes, but then for others, it could just be like a slow burn throughout their whole life. I don't know. It's just an observation. I think it's the fundamental challenge of the human spirit is to overcome adversity. And I love that you accepted that doing it on your own terms was what you had to do. In my opinion, I feel like I see a society of people trying to numb pain, but I really feel like that's where the magic is. When you said those magic words of like, I sit in it, and people don't really want to do that.
No.
I know I don't.
I know I don't either. I don't either sometimes, no.
Yeah, but when I do, I don't know. Like that in itself, for me personally, this is personal experience. I feel empowered. It's like I got through that moment, or I got through that sort of moment of despair, and it's been linked to tragedies in life, and we all have to deal with grief in some aspects. So
it's an unraveling. It's like when you sit in it and you're like, all right, here it goes again. And you're like, hey, we've done this before. And you kind of like, righto.
So you can identify it now. When it's coming.
Now, I have the tools to be able to go like, this has occurred. So like, for prime example, this whole COVID thing. It sends it's almost like it sends you into orbit, and like you're like, oh my God, I'm floating in space, like what is going on with my life? And we go, boom, let's go back to safety and safety mechanism or whatever, or the easiest thing that is the most comfortable for you, even though you hate it or it is so uncomfortable, you just go, I'm going to grab you because you're what I'm used to doing, and I know how to control you, and you're the only thing that I can control on. So I go boom, straight back to like, how do I control my food? Maybe I go on another diet. How do I lose weight? There's my body image stuff coming back up to the surface. Hey, inner mean critic, like, let's just have a field day. And then I'm like, hold on a second. Like, I haven't changed anything. It's just like, there's so many other things in my life that feel so out of sorts at the moment, and I feel like I'm fighting for control to try, but it's out of my control. So it's like you got to surrender to that, and then that's like taking off another layer of like, oh, okay, cool. Like I was able to move through that without resorting back to old past habits and beliefs and stories, because they don't serve me anymore. And it's just like realizing like, because it's all about safety. It's like the same with the ego. It's like it's just trying to keep you safe, and these habits are like a form of safety. It's like your little bubble. And you're like, well, I didn't die. I'm still alive. I'm good. Things are a bit crazy in the world right now, but I'm good, and it doesn't mean I have to, beat myself up for it or go back to the things that no longer serve me. So you can slowly become aware of it, and, instead of me sitting in it for years and being in that space, it can be a day, it can be a few hours, maybe a week, and then you're able to like move through it a bit more easier.
I heard a really cool thing once, and it said that the thinking mind is it's a tool for survival. It's a problem solving mechanism, and it's not actually who you are. But I think for many people, we believe that our thinking mind, which is like based in primal instincts of fight, flight, hunt, gather, procreate, we think that that's who we are, but we're actually not. And wow, when I had that realization that I'm not my thinking mind, that's just another muscle that I have to use to make decisions, things like that. and also make all my organs in my body function without me knowing and all that. So I was like, wow, it changes the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, because I think for many years, for me anyway, and maybe other people identify with that I thought, well, that's who I am, like, but I'm not. Like, I'm not that person that, stresses out about toilet paper running out. I'm not that. That's not me. That's just my thinking mind trying to survive about how I'm going to wipe
your ass. Yep.
I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a bad analogy. But anyway, yeah. So, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Anyway, so listen, I am really curious about, okay, you said you were immediately drawn to kickboxing.
Yep.
Muay Thai specifically. And again, I was the same. I used to train with Brett. Ooh, God, maybe over 10 or 15 years ago. And then I actually hurt my ankle and I went away from it for years. But there's something about it that it does for me something different to normal boxing. I feel this sense of spirituality to it because you're using so much of your body when you do it. And technically it's a lot to think about. You're not just using your arms, using your legs and your elbows and stuff like that. I love the science. So you were drawn to it for those reasons. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you've been a competitive fighter.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So tell me about like when you made the decision that you wanted to have an actual fight.
So I had been like, my trainers had always been like, you good enough to fight? And I guess there was a lot of self-doubt. Like, no, I'm not. Like, are you serious? Like, no. And then just like the thoughts of being punched in the face. Like, who wants to willingly go and get punched in the face? Like, it's not the nicest thing, trust me. And, just like they kind of prodded and like, oh, come on, Whitney, like have a fight. And I think I just went home back to my apartment one day and I just really sat
in Thailand?
In Thailand. Yeah. Yes, this was in Thailand, probably been there for about 3 months when I decided to move over.
Yeah.
And I was like, Whitney, like, why the hell did you move to Thailand for? And why are you training so hard, busting your ass? Like, I know you love it, but, why not just have a fight? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, yeah, there's a few bad things that could happen, but
nose broken.
Legs
out.
broken. I've seen it before, but I was like, you've got this. Like, you can do this. Like, and I don't know. I just went back to training, and my trainer was like, Whitney, you're going to have a fight? And I was like, yeah. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, if someone else who is a trainer who's been doing this for years, had over like 300 fights or something crazy, can see potential in me, why the hell can't I believe it in myself?
Yeah.
This is the first time I actually felt like I was really good at something. Yeah. I love it. I love the culture. Why not just give it a go?
Yeah.
And then, so the training started and it's freaking brutal, man. Like,
the training regime
to get into a fight, like they obviously say, like, they say train hard, fight easy.
Okay.
So, you train like a mad woman. You give it like as much as you possibly can, 100%, 200%. Like, you go hard so that when you get into the ring, you actually feel like it's just a walk in the park because you're prepared for anything. You're prepared. You've done the rounds of sparring. You've done your running. You've done the hours in the gym. You've trained with the boys. Like, you've been rattled. Your rounds have gone up to 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You've done the work. So when you actually get in there, it's just like a bit more cruisier.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay. And a training camp is usually what?
They
3
say
months, 4 months?
Maybe 8 weeks, depends.
8 weeks. Okay.
But look, Thailand is like where I fight. There was no weight cut, no nothing like that. So, and I'd been prepping, like I'd been training hard already for a few months. So it was only a few weeks until I'd jumped into the ring. But yeah.
So they could see the talent and they could see the fitness and they thought, she's
ready to go.
So you had your first fight lined up.
Yes.
Let's talk about the feelings you had like leading up to like maybe the day before. What were you thinking?
Let's just say there was a lot of journaling and a lot of affirmations involved of like, you've got this, you can win, you've got this. And every time I would think about, like, there was, seriously though, every time there was, like I would think about the fight and I would envision it and I would like go through it in my head of like what I was going to do and how I was going to win. and the combos that were going to come out, my heart would just like start like racing and I get really excited about it. It wasn't like a nervous, it was like an excitement. I was just like, holy shit, like this is happening. Mind you, your poster is everywhere. Like you feel like you're a superstar. Like, you know, they drive around with a car with your poster on it and you're like, holy shit.
Way.
Yeah, with your face on it. Around Patong and there's posters like everywhere.
Did you get paid?
Yeah, it was like 200 Australian dollars.
Okay.
But I gave it straight to like the gym. I didn't keep it. You give it to your corner or a percentage, or you go out afterwards and shout. Everyone drinks, like, you know.
So you're professional, though.
Yeah, well, yes, professional. That's what you want to call it. And yeah, so like leading up to it, my trainer was like, "Oh yeah, she's only had like 4 fights," and then next week it was like, "Oh, she's only had 8," and I'm like, okay. And then it was like, "Oh no, she's only had 10." I was like, "All right, numbers are going higher. Whatever, let's just roll with it." And yeah, that night, it was so eerie. I was so calm. I was just put my headphones in, put my music in, and just really just concentrated on my breathing. And, you know, had my dad's ashes there, which I've got in a necklace, and just kept like kind of talking to him in my head and focusing on my breathing and reserving my energy. And, yeah, got all like the massage and the oil, and it was kind of like next thing the only time I got nervous was the ref grabbed my hand and started shaking it and going like, "You win, you win, you win." I'm like, "Oh my God, don't say that just yet." Okay,
so the girl you fought had 10 fights prior.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
And you beat her?
Afterwards, I found out she had 48 fights to my one. What? My one being, I knocked her out. I think it was the second round with an elbow.
Wow.
Yeah. And the high, the adrenaline, like I was in so much shock. I was so happy. I was on top of the world. Like I was like, holy shit, because you're in there and that's it. Like you can't just go run in the corner and cry. Like you're going for it. And you just zone into one person's voice and you just hear their voice and they're like controlling you and you're kind of like a robot. And yeah, it was all over. And I was like, oh, cool. Was that it? Like, you know, I'm not really beaten up.
Did it just feel like a big blur?
Yeah. You don't really remember it. Just on a big high and got out of the ring and people wanting my autograph and stuff. I was like, what the hell? Just because like heaps of Aussies go over there too. So they're like super pumped for you. And yeah, but then like, you know, celebrate. You're on a super, super big high. And the next day it's like all over. And you're like, oh.
Calm down.
Now what? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's like just this real low of like, what's next? More like you want to keep that feeling, like you want to keep that high. You want to stay up there. And it just like plummets. And I was like,
And prior to that was all that was on your mind?
Yeah.
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 So how'd you deal with that?
Just get back into training and you go again and you ask for another fight.
Okay. Keep on that.
Yeah. Did
she get any good hits on you?
Yeah. She was a strong girl. She was strong. Probably it was like it wasn't, like I didn't pull up too bad afterwards. I've had fights where I can't walk. Like I'm black and blue. Like it's a full on wall. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then you went into your next fight. You stayed in Thailand at that time.
Yeah.
So how many fights did you have in Thailand when you were living there in total?
I think it was only 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the space of a year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, really.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The second fight, I got quite banged up. Like it was a 5-round war and we went ham on each other. They had 2 black eyes, 2 black legs, couldn't walk.
5 rounds.
Yeah. 5 twos. And she was an American girl. And I won that too, but yeah, she was just so strong and
knock her out. You didn't knock her out.
I didn't knock her out, just points. Yeah. I remember like the last round, I was like, I don't want to kick anymore. My trainer's like, go forward. Like you have to keep going. And I was like, okay. But yeah, after that, I needed some time to recover. I just couldn't jump back straight in. I couldn't even kick the pads for a while. And so, yeah, the night that I left Thailand, I was meant to fight the next day. But that's a story within itself there too.
Okay. Okay, deep question coming here. You ready?
Go.
That first fight, you said like, you know, there's the obvious nerves that are associated with something that is out of your comfort zone and unfamiliar. You'd never been in that situation before. And I'm assuming that you would have ruminated over that. So you'd be thinking about the fight over and over leading up to it. And then you put strategies in place to deal with that. My question is, do you apply those same strategies to everyday life challenges?
No, probably not.
Okay. Okay. Shit question.
Next.
Should you?
I should, yeah, no. I mean, like I definitely journal all the time, and I talk myself through a lot of things and use like, so yeah, you could say that I do to an extent. I definitely use my breathing a lot. My breathing to ground me back down. Yeah, just like that big deep breath.
The best.
Journaling. So the same thing of journaling, I would say I could definitely use the visualization side a little bit more because it is really, really powerful. Like, I visualized what I was going to do in that fight and pretty much came true. So, it is really, really strong. But yeah, I would some of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole breathwork thing, on like the science coming out around breathwork. I mean, I'm not going to speak out against prescription medication. I know it has its place.
Yeah.
I get that. But I really feel like once this takes off and more people start to get into it and its ability to heal your body on a physiological level and calm the central nervous system, I think it's the pharmaceutical companies are going to take a big hit because people aren't going to need those things as much or at all, hopefully,
Yeah.
So it's a big one. Like I've just really started getting into it. I mean, I talk a lot about Wim Hof breathing. I did a 12-week Wim Hof course and wow, like what a difference it has made to my health, my mental focus and capacity. It's just unbelievable. And now I've actually just recently, thanks to a mutual friend you shared with me, started doing some other breath work and wow, like it's just profound.
It's powerful.
Yeah. And
Very
I really want to be an advocate for it. And it's ironic because like it's the most simple thing a human being can do. We all have it. Just got to do it.
It's the most underutilized tool that's like for free that you can do. Yeah, for free that you can do to like calm your central nervous system down, calm yourself and heal your body. Theoretically, we are just energy. So using the breath is just moving that energy around your body. And when you have those huge blockages, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe you need someone to guide you through it to be able to clear that because it's quite intense to be able to do it by yourself and a lot can come up. But just your everyday, just like you don't realize how shallow you breathe. Like most people are just like here, rather than like a full deep belly breath. Like, yeah, we're always in that flight and fight mode without knowing it. And then when you do tap into breath work, you're like, holy shit, like there's a different way of being. It can be like full calm and, your whole body just like almost relaxes, like it's constantly tense, but you tap into that breath work and the power of the breath and you can just like, you calm yourself within 4 deep belly breaths. You don't know yourself, like,
Yeah. And I mean, it can even get you high, like.
Oh, yeah. It has like the same effects as like plant medicine. Like it can, not that I've tried plant medicine, but I guess the practitioners that I've worked with have been able to take me to somewhat of a same level just by using the breath.
Yeah. Amazing. And that's what the human body fundamentally needs. Like the two most important things are oxygen and water.
Yeah.
And like you just said, we're lazy we're lazy because we only breathe like the bare minimum of what we need in that time. But if we oversaturate, it's like your body goes, oh, well, I've got an abundance of this now. Oh, I'm going to not just survive, I'm going to go and heal.
Yeah.
And who knows? I don't know. Hopefully the world, maybe this could be the new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's advocate for it.
That's it.
Yeah. But speaking of advocating, like you have your own personal training business within Fit to Fight Boxing.
Yes.
And it's called EmpowerHER.
Yes.
So it's specifically aimed at empowering women.
Yes.
Through training, exercise, but I'm guessing it's more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like prior I didn't really have like, I guess, a branding, or I didn't really establish myself as, Empower Her. But I had been incorporating boxing with brunch Two of my favorite things. Like, who doesn't love a smashed avo on toast and a good coffee? But boxing brunch and body awareness, or, you know, I would run workshops like self-love events, empowerment events, just bringing women together to really, I kind of just give them an insight on, one, sharing my story and allowing them to know that they're not alone. Yeah. Two, kind of showing them that, you know, life doesn't just revolve around you know, body image, exercise, diet. There's more to it, you know, and just being an advocate for really empowering women to love themselves, show up for themselves, embrace their authenticity, you know, go after the life that they really want, go after the dreams that they want. And yeah, just, you know, life's too short to not like to actually get to know yourself. It's kind of like, for me, I was always like really big on asking big questions, or it's like, do you even know who you are? Like, get curious. Like, have you ever questioned who you are, your identity, your beliefs? I think that was something that was huge for me, is because I had really good, I guess, guides and teachers that actually really helped me discover who I was. And I'm still on that journey where every day I'm still questioning my beliefs. I'm questioning who I am. I'm questioning the negative stories that come into my mind. And, you know, when you get to the bottom of it, you kind of come home to like, who you are is actually like, just like, it's pure love. Like, you know, you weren't born hating yourself. You weren't born with all these negative stories and beliefs. And it's like,
where do they come from? Where do
they come from is like social conditioning, programming, families. Like, when you think about it, like, you're born and within the first minute, somewhat of your future's already premeditated. Like, I know on a universal level, like on a soul level, yes, it is premeditated. You have like a life path and a journey, but like other things of like...
You don't believe you can create your own life path?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I think you still kind of end up on the same somewhat like path. I don't know. I feel like you can change, and of course, but I also feel like your soul has its own unique way of seeing you through life. I don't know. Like,
you've got your own, there's a specific journey that you have to go through.
Yeah.
But maybe the way you go through it is up to you.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
I just
You should see Shan's face right now. Like, that was a full light bulb moment.
I just blacked out. I don't know where it came from.
Your soul just dropped in. Your eyes just rolled back into your head.
I felt it.
It was like boom, like,
see,
whoa.
See, that's the effect you have on people.
Yeah.
Wow. So with the EmpowerHER, you know, group fitness, I'm sort of guessing that you're creating a space for good conversation as well.
Yeah, I'm always asking I love to ask my clients and actually get to know them and ask how they're doing and, you know, what's been going on, or like, how you going. Ideally, I would love to create my own facility and space, you know, that incorporates so many different elements than just boxing and Muay Thai. Like, I think there is a space for like even movements of like dance or like yoga, like I said, like a bit of a yin and a yang, alternative healing methods, you know, a space for women to feel comfortable, to kind of realize they're not in competition with each other. We all have our own stories and our own journeys, and to open up and speak about it, and just look at each other and go like, you know, we're on the same kind of level. Like, you know, we go through the same kind of things. It's okay to talk to one another, not look at each other and judge each other or criticize each other. So.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like, I feel women are really good at doing that and talking and expressing their feelings. Like, and I talk about this a fair bit on the podcast. I think dudes struggle with it.
Yeah.
And I know Brett and I, your mentor, and he's actually probably my mentor too.
Yeah.
Got a man crush on him, but anyway.
Yeah. A man crush.
I got a man crush on him. No, but I'm serious. Like, I think, dudes need to talk about it more.
Yeah.
And that's why I love like guys like Brett, for example, to look at him, he's as hard as they come. You know, tattoos up to his neck or up to
Yeah.
his chin, whatever, you know. But then he'll talk about how he's feeling today, and
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, like, what makes a man?
What makes a man?
Yeah, what makes a man? What makes a man? Like, what makes a strong man in your opinion?
A strong man.
I got ya.
There you
got
did.
ya.
What makes a strong man? I definitely think, for me personally, what makes a strong man is someone who can, strong and like courageous of being able to talk about what they're going through, and speak about their emotions, and accept that it's okay to feel sad and it's okay to cry, and I just, there's such a huge perception of what a strong man is, and I think it really aims more at like the physical as well. A strong man is a strong physical man who doesn't cry, when it's like, no, like strong man to be like, this is who I am, to stand up and show the world like I can cry, but I can also have like tattoos. I'm unafraid to be who I am, regardless of what the other males think of me. It's the same as a woman as well.
Yeah.
A strong woman, she's unafraid to be herself and show emotion.
Is that like your, like Brett Harriet, for example, just talking about him, he's your,
Damn, Brett, are you getting a lot of name drops in this episode? I didn't get one on your episode. I'm feeling a bit ripped off here.
He's up himself. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I guess like, is that why you think you connected with someone like him as your trainer for Muay Thai boxing? Is that what drew you to him, or was it something else?
Yeah. So I really only knew Brett like around Wollongong. I didn't know him previous. Like I knew of him, and we'd spoken maybe once or twice previously to me actually working here at Fit to Fight. But we have established a really, really like, it's that almost like that father figure. A really strong bond, and I feel like a part of the family, and like, yeah, like he's almost taken on that somewhat role of a father figure for me, as not only like a coach and a mentor, but yeah, I think for me, he's really open-minded, and he'll actually sit there and listen to what you have to say. And he's unafraid to be like, fuck, like, yeah, I'm struggling too. I have bad days. I have down days. Like I have insecurities too. Like, things that I'm worried about, or, I get down, I cry. I'm unafraid of crying. I'm unafraid of being different and standing out, and, other people make judgments, but like, this is me and I'm not going to change for other people. And I think that like that is like the authenticity thing is huge as well. Like, yeah.
So you had a professional fight last year, correct? In Thailand?
Yes. Yeah.
And, was that
like
last
what year are we in? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
it's like that at the moment, right? And Brett was your trainer and coach for that?
Yes.
Was that the first fight he's had?
Yeah.
So what did he bring to that fight? So you had that fight in Thailand?
Yeah.
Which part of Thailand?
Patong. So it's like back where I lived.
And I've seen the footage of it online. It was a pretty amazing fight. It looked like a huge crowd.
It was pretty fun. It was a fun fight.
It was a fun fight.
Yeah.
Why? Is that because the opponent wasn't up to your standard?
No, I just think I was so excited. I hadn't fought in 2 years, and I was so excited to get back in there, and it happened all so quickly. And I don't think like, they definitely could have given me a harder opponent, but she didn't back down, not at all.
No, she didn't.
No, yeah. But it was just like, I was just fun. I was having fun. Like I was like no pressure. I was just happy and having fun. And I think I was in a better headspace too. I'd grown so much as a person by then that getting in the ring was like a completely different experience for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just find it really like I was inspirational watching the footage from that fight and watching, Brett in the corner. And, I, as an outsider who doesn't really understand your relationship with him that well, it just really did look like a father and daughter sort of dynamic.
Yeah.
And it was just super, super cool. And you look like you're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind of kicked her ass too.
A little bit.
How does that feel?
Amazing.
Like, do you, I mean...
Do I enjoy punching people in the
Well,
face?
do you get... okay, let's be honest. Like, that's the game. That's the nature of the game.
Yep.
So do you get pleasure out of actually when you hit someone hard and they feel it?
Yep.
Is that just like, hey, the training's paid off?
Fuck yes.
Yeah, you get that.
Yeah, you do. You're like, oh my, like, fuck yeah, like that feels good.
Because that's what they're trying to do to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like going in there, sometimes it's not about them. Usually it's about you against you and how you can showcase the skills that you've learnt within training and, you know, how you've improved as a better fighter. Like it's like you're fighting against yourself. And, you know, when you're tired, you've got to fight against yourself more because you don't want to stop. You want to like keep going. Like,
And your emotions?
And your emotions. Like, fuck, man, you're getting punched in the face. Like sometimes you do want to just cry, but like there's this adrenaline just overrides you, like, you know, and it is. It's like, don't give up. Like, don't quit. Like you just keep going forward. Like you've got this and you have to be your own cheerleader. Like you have to fucking like, you know, be like, fuck yeah, like you got this. You got this. Like, and I think that is probably one thing that it's like I bring into more of my everyday life is being like, you have to be your own fucking cheerleader. You have to be your own best friend. You have to be your own hype girl. Like hype yourself up. Like the amount of energy that we spend beating ourselves down. Like, you know, if we could actually see that and look in the mirror and go, like all the words came back up, like, holy fuck, like you wouldn't speak to yourself like that. You don't speak to your best friend like that. But like, yeah, we're our own worst enemy. Like we can be so harsh to ourselves. And it's like this thing of like, holy shit, if you can jump into a ring, Whitney, and fight someone, like, and have that courage and that strength, like you've got this, like you can do anything. Like, like you said the other day to me, like your mind is that strong, like allow it to be your superhero, like allow it to be, you know, your superpower, like embrace it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Channel it.
Listen, I don't get to talk to fighters very often. Okay, I've spoke to a few, but I want to go back to some fight stuff.
Okay.
What's your preferred way to take someone down?
Elbow.
I was like, you want to go elbow?
Elbow.
Why elbow?
Oh, I don't know. There's just something about
because you cut them often. You
like crack straight against the face. I don't know. Just like I don't know. It's just next level. Like I've been sliced in the face with an elbow. No, not kicks.
Okay.
I don't know why, but not kicks.
Yeah, right.
Because if you hit their shin, like, that hurts, man, shin against shin. But elbow, just something so vicious about it. Like,
and I mean, and that's the game you're in.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it to them, they're going to do it to you.
That's it.
Do you see Muay Thai as it's a game of chess, really? Yes and no.
It's a rhythmic dance.
You said it's a dance.
Yeah, it's like the art of Muay Thai. It's like you watch some Thai people fight and you're like, oh, wow, that's actually so beautiful. It's like a flowy dance. It's so beautiful.
Is that the vibe you picked up on living and training in Thailand?
Yeah. You can, I don't know, it's like the music and they're all there and they're betting and there's no real booing or anything like that. It's just like this, two people getting in there. One, a lot of them doing it for money to survive. It's their job. But others are really just like, I don't know, there's like this rhythm and flow about it. Yeah.
The art of it.
The art of it. The art of 8 limbs.
Nice. Yeah. So listen, it's been epic. It's been an hour and 12 minutes, Whitney.
Shit.
We can keep going if you like. But I just like you've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Open. Yeah. I'm really like I don't know. I just get really personally inspired. I don't know. As time's going on, and maybe I'm getting older, I can just really feel like I'm picking up on people who are living their truth. Yeah. And I mean this as a sincere compliment. I see that in you. And you mentioned it before, you know, like Brett and I were talking about it, and I've talked about it a lot on the podcast. Like I see there's some people that maybe described as empaths or sensitive people, and it's often portrayed as being a weakness, but I think that's bullshit. Yeah. I think it's the strength, man. But are you brave enough to face up to it and then use it for positive, you know, and not numb it out? So, and I think you're doing it. Because I was trying to beat you yesterday in that fitness challenge.
Oh, yeah, no. You weren't getting that.
No. But I am your push-ups. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was short.
Yeah, that's all right.
You weren't extending them. No. Let's not go there. Let's
go again, then.
Let's go.
No,
it's been epic. So I look, I ask all guests to come to the podcast with a cause that they want to support or advocate for. So do you have one you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't use this cause personally myself. I wish I knew about it. But it's the Butterfly Foundation, which is a foundation for eating disorders. They help both women and men. And I did a charity event here, actually, Boxing for Butterfly for them as well.
Epic.
Yeah, it was a really good day. And they've got a hotline, I think, and they've got like a support line, and they try and get into schools and stuff. And I think it's just super important to have that education out there about, having a positive relationship with food and your body, because there's so many people that are in hospital suffering with it and actually risking their lives over something that's meant to be enjoyed. And your body literally works for you 24/7 to keep you alive. It's incredible. And yet we've become so socially conditioned to hate the way that we look and think that it is our identity when it is not. It is our vessel that allows us to experience life.
It's our vessel that allows us to experience life. That's so fucking epic. Sorry. Seriously.
I went there.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
and it is. It's something that I've had to work on a lot to come back to terms with. Very much so.
Yeah, and again, another message that I've really taken away from our conversation is that it's not a destination. The journey never ends. No. And I know for me, when I accepted that, well, this is how I live my life now. This is my lifestyle. This journey. It's really that's really empowering. For anyone. It's we're all looking for the quick fix. We don't want to experience pain, and we want instant gratification in everything. And the way our society is set up is we can get it.
Yeah.
You can get finance for anything. You can go and get a new car that you can't afford, or even a loan for a house, or you can go and buy like clothes or whatever. It's all about. Actually, my last guest, his name's Slippery Surfer. Wouldn't tell me his real name. He's a rapper.
Okay.
I love him. Yes, Slippery, you rule, shred gang. He was really interesting because he was like, dude, I do it because I love the grind. I'm grinding it out, and it's for the love of the grind. And he goes, and that's why I do it, and that's what keeps me going, and that's really inspirational to me too. So
yeah, I think with me on my journey, is I'm trying to flip the script of going. There's going to be the highs and the lows. But when it is the lows, it's an opportunity that I get to fall more in love with myself. Rather than looking at it as oh my God, and this is real new, but
that's great.
Rather than being oh my God, here I am again, back at the same story. How did I get here? Just but Whitney, when you move through this, it's another layer, you fall deeper in love with who you are, and you get to share that with the world too. And you can flip it. You flip the script.
Yeah, that's it.
Flip the script. But yeah, I also think just want to another thing just to add is I think also our society is so invested in chasing happiness, and I knew that I was this just big happy until you come to terms with there's so many other emotions and feelings that you get to feel, and happiness is a fleeting moment.
That's
so
really...
you can have more happy experiences, but constantly staying high all the time, you're gonna, without what they say, without the light, you can't see the dark. Without the dark, you can't see the light.
And it's not sustainable.
No, so you need the duality of both.
Ooh, dropping bombs.
It is.
No, it's true though.
It is. It's kind of if, how do I explain it? If you didn't have a time, if you never felt sadness, how would you know what happiness was?
Correct.
And if you weren't happy, how would you know what sadness was? Or if you never tried ice cream with Milo, you wouldn't know what happiness is.
If you never tried ice cream with Milo, your life sucks.
But so I think it's just really important to honour that there are more emotions than just happiness, and you can accept the ebbs and flows.
Yeah, right. And that's beautiful, because actually one of my questions was and it's a tough one, and I try to stump people with it, but you actually answered it. It's how would you define happiness? Mm-hmm. And I think you've just really summed it up. That
Yep.
yeah, like
It's a fleeting moment and you can have lots of them.
Yeah.
But
you can have contentment, maybe.
yeah, you can have contentment.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I just think like if you like personally, if I get caught up driving for happiness, it's almost you can start to fear the sad times and feel like you're somewhat of a failure, or you're not doing it enough, or you're not being like, this spiritual good enough person because, for God forbid, you have a day where you're not high vibes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Vibrating on 720 hertz or whatever it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You think you should be like that all the time.
Yeah. And I think it is really important to, like now on my journey, like my days are filled with so much more joy and laughter and happiness, and more of those moments and more, it's great and I love it. But there's also times where I'm just like, I'm feeling a bit sad, and that's okay too. And I get to honor that. Yeah.
And they're the key words, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know for me personally, when I get sad, I start to beat myself up and go, snap out of it. What are you doing? Stop it. Like you're being a loser. Like, no. Yeah. Like instead of, and again, you said that earlier, like just sit in it and just rest in it.
Surrender.
Oh, you got the tat. Is that what I thought you were sticking your finger up at me?
No.
Yeah. Surrender.
Surrender to it.
Yeah.
And just allow it. It's okay. It really is okay. It's a part of the human experience.
It is, which we have no control over.
Exactly.
Because really we have like fuck all control. And that's what I'm learning in my life, in my journey, is that control is an illusion. Yeah. If you think you're in control of your life, well, you're dreaming. It's not true. Like all you can do is just like surrender to the moment and be in the moment. And it's all you literally have. Like
just trust that you're exactly where you are.
What would you say to your 18-year-old self?
Oh, shit.
What advice would you give your 18? I'm trying so hard to stump you with something deep. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
18-year-old Whitney.
Yeah. I'm ready.
All right.
What would you say to her?
I would say to her that you are more than just a body. That, oh gosh. It's almost like hitting home here. That you're allowed to embrace your authenticity. You're allowed to take up space in this world. You're allowed to chase your dreams. Like, no dream is like too big, like anything that you can imagine that you can bring into reality. You don't have to hide who you are. It's all right if people don't accept you or like you for who you are. You'll always find the people that do. Your mind doesn't rule you. You're not your negative thoughts. You're not your negative stories. Life, I guess, don't die wondering. And I have that tattooed on me. But it is like, don't die wondering. Like really just.
Like take a chance.
Take a chance. Like lean into the fear and like be courageous and be proud of who you are and stand strong within who you are, and don't hide, don't shrink, don't try and fit into the box of what, other people want you to be or society wants you to be. Like break out of the box and like, really like just be proud of who you are. Self-love and self-empowerment, like, is the key. Like, it's your birthright. You're like, you're allowed to love yourself.
You're allowed to love yourself.
You're allowed to love yourself. Yeah.
It's magic. Now listen, I'm gonna the Butterfly Foundation, correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna actually put a link to that in Whitney's show notes, and you can find Whitney's episode on terriblehappytalks.com. That will also provide you with a bunch of links to the various platforms that you can find this podcast, such as Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Whatever works for your device, you'll find a platform that it will work on. And listen, Whitney, I've got a present for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't get too excited.
All right.
Firstly, the Australian distributor of INDOSOLE will be sending you a pair of flip-flops or slides. Spring's only like a month away. Yeah, so, you can start wearing them. Slides. I mean, slides are always good.
I'll rock them.
So, yeah.
This means
So they'll be sending you a pair of those. They send a pair to every guest. They've been a huge supporter of the show. Big shout out to Kai Paul, Kyle Parsons, and Chris Pappas, and also the Australian distributor. They've just been great, and I thank them. If you go to www.indosole.com and use promo code THT, you'll get a further 15% discount. So listen, the other present is you get the THT Circle logo sticker.
Yeah.
Now, I only give these to people that have been on the show, so there's only 66 in circulation. Only, that's a fair bit.
Feeling pretty privileged.
It's actually not that special.
It is pretty
No, I'm special. It is special.
It is special.
But I actually like.
Thank you.
I just want to, just as a small token, and so stick it wisely, and you're an alumni.
Wisely.
Sorry, that sounded so. Okay, don't stick it. Stick it wherever you want. Stick it wherever you want. No, that's even worse. No, you know what I mean. She's lost it. She's losing it. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's it. So that's it. Whitney, you got anything else you want to end on? Or have you just lost it? Have I just made you lose the plot? I'm sorry.
And once I lose it, I can't regather. It takes a while.
Dude, you got the best cackle ever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Anything else? No. I feel like just the sun's. I'm looking out like it's been raining the last week and the sun's shining, and I'm just going to get out there and get some vitamin D.
That's it.
All right.
Thank
Great
you.
work. Love your work. Here we go. Outro music. I'm learning how to use my new recorder. See ya.